Welcome back. This is episode 9. We'll be looking at logical operators. Yes, logical operators. You can see that in bracket we put Boolean because the result of logical operator will always give you true or false, just like we have the comparison operators also. The comparison operators will always give you true or false. Okay, they are conditional statements. They are conditional. You're always checking. Is this going to give you true or give you a false statement? So let's look at this. It says, a logical operator can be used with any primitive value or object. The results are based on whether the values are considered to be truthy or false. These are typically called a combination. These are typically used in combination with the comparison operators. Yes, you can use it with comparison operators too. So let's just play around with this. Right? So since we're done with this, we'll comment it out. Logical operators. So for logical operators, what example should I give you? So we can still make use of the numbers we have here. But I will tweak it a bit. I'll say I won't use the string again. I'll just make sure that everything is a number. Okay. So let's say we have something like this. Okay, so let's look at all this and just play around with all these guys. So let's look at the first one. Before I say the first one, for the logical operators, we have and. We have the AND operator, OR operator, and the NOT operator. So let me show you how the AND operator is. This is AND operator. For the OR operator, we have two pipes. And for the NOT, we have this a negation sign. That's exclamation mark in English. In English, it is called exclamation mark. Okay, so for the logical operators, we have AND. So let me just put it right here. So we have the AND, OR, and NOT. The AND operator. Okay, let me type it here. The AND operator. Okay, the explanation is there. Let me just put that. The logical AND operator returns true if both operands are true. Otherwise, it returns false. Okay. Then for the OR, the logical OR operator returns true if at least one of the operands is true. Otherwise, it returns false. Then the last one, the logical NOT operator returns true if the operand is false, and false if the operand is true. So let's look at this with this example. For the AND operator and the result. We are checking, these are two comparisons. We are using strict comparison here, strict equality. You can see is A equivalent to B? So let's check. Is A equivalent to B? 5. Is 5 equivalent to 5? Yes. So this will give you a true. So you hold it somewhere. You say, okay, oh, this first one is true. Then you now check the second one. We are using the AND operator. So this one must be true. This one must also be true for everything to be true. So we'll check for the second one now. C is what? 10. D is what? 15. So you now check, is C less than D? Is 5 less than 15? That's true. So this first comparison is true. The second comparison is true. So 2 plus 2 will give you what? True. You get? So for this one, AND operator is like, that's will be true plus 2. Or let me just say true and true equals true. Okay, that's nice. True and true equals true. True and false equals false. False and false equals false. Then this one, true or true will give you true. True or false will give you true. False or false will give you false. Like that, like that. So the opposite or the inverse of these two will give you false, and the inverse of the false will give you true. So all results, A is equivalent to B. Is it true or false? Let's check. A is equivalent to B. 5 is equivalent to B. That's true. And we are using OR operator. You don't need to even check the rest. Once the first one here is true and you are using the OR operator, you don't need to even check the rest because it's going to choose one of these. Once any of these is true, everything is true. Then for this one, is A equivalent to B? Check. 5 is equivalent to 5. That's true. But because we are using a negation sign, that means it's going to be false. Okay. So that's that about the logical operator. So there are instances that, had it been it was a physical class, I will just give you some work to do that can be very tricky. Okay. But for now, just play around, enjoy it. So let's check the results of what we have. Refresh. What do we have here? Okay. And the result, that's true. All results true. Not result, that's false. True, false. Okay. That's that for the logical operator. Oops. That's that for the logical operator. We're done. So